Now, and this isn't going to be a very difficult race to handicap because there's never been a race
No,
before.
this is the 75-year history of NASCAR, the first street race.
Yeah.
So
we only have road courses to go by, and that's good, but it's still not a street race. But you do have to go by road courses more than anything, of course.
Yeah, because you're turning left and right. But even this course, there's really nothing similar because there's a lot of low-speed 90-degree corners, which be the tight turns. I believe out of the 9, I heard there's 4 or 5 of them are 90-degree turns. So almost over pretty much half the track, you're going to have a tight turn radius. So the drivers have said it's going to work one of 2 ways. It's going to be a complete chaos because they compared it to Indy's turn 1. Remember how they get fanned out and they barely feel like they could get through turn 1 and they wreck every lap.
Okay.
And Coda, how their first turn, how they get spread out. They said it's going to look like that every lap.
What?
Or because they said out of the 9 turns, 5 of them are like those turns.
Whoa.
Or you're going to have everybody's going to not know what to expect and take it easy, and you could have a cleaner race because nobody knows what to expect. So,
we might have a cleaner race early.
Yeah, and it could be chaos at the cautions in the end because it's so tight. The restart zone to get going is not even on the straightaway. It's on the turn before you get to the straightaway.
Okay.
Because they want to try to get them to spread out a little bit, and that tells you how tight this course is going to be. And there's no forgiving. So the NASCAR fans watching this that may not have paid attention to IndyCar F1, the difference is street races are downtown city streets, and there's walls on where at least like Indy, Coda, like I mentioned, there's runoff, there's grass, there's areas you can, if you get wide, you can go off track and come back on. Not on a street course. There's a wall there that's going to be waiting for you. And the turns are usually very, like I said, tight. There's not a lot. It's a city street. So as you guys driven downtown streets, how narrow these things kind of are.
It's going to be chaos.
That's what they're going to be running NASCARs down. So
how many cars do you think are going to be how many cars do you think will make it to the end?
I'll put it about, I'm going to say make it to the end. I'll go 23, but I'm going to say out of the 23, you may only have 5 to 6 without maybe any damage. It's your guys that might be running up front all day. It's going to look like a Daytona or Talladega come the end of this.
Okay. That's what I think.
You're going to have some guys that are going to stay out of the, like, hey, look, I'm not going to, you guys all go wreck in turn 1. I'm going to ride back here and let you guys wreck, and then but
at some point,
I have a feeling you're going to see red flags because the track is going to be blocked off. There's going to be wrecks that's going to, and there might be some of those guys that are just lagging behind because they can't get through the wreck and might get collected in it. So it's going to be that type of race, which is why it's so hard to handicap because you have no idea who's going to get caught up and stuff, because you could be an innocent bystander running 5th and 2nd and 3rd place make a run and they wreck and they clog the track and you don't get slowed up in time and you run into it. Or you slow up and somebody doesn't slow up behind you and knocks you into it. So it's going to be one of those races.
Should be fun.
That's why I didn't try to overthink it too much. Yeah, I just took the guys that have been good on road courses and are good on the season, and that's about all you can do.
And I was surprised that you guys didn't do more long shots because I figured, man, anything can happen. And I had to add. I added 6 100-to-1 shots.
I thought about it, and then I teased this last week, and I looked into it. Since 2018, we've had 10 new events added to the Cup Series schedule. 9 of them were won by Hendrick or Penske. And the other one was AJ Allmendinger, who's a road course driver by nature at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So the big teams seem to win these first-time races. And that's why if we go over my picks, it's pretty much the big teams and guys that have been good at road courses. Because I thought the same. They're like, oh, maybe some of these longer shot guys, you never know. It just seems like the cream always rises to the top.
Sure.
So, which we'll get into deeper of those stats when we go over the drivers, because I got some stats to back this up, and I tied them driver specific. But yeah, it just seems the cream will always rise to the top on an inaugural event.
All right. We have a little bit of nostalgia here because we have 5 drivers we all
Oh, wow.
picked.
That's weird because I was going to guess 4 or 5, just because I'm going to say Elliott.
No.
Oh, wow. Larson.
Yes.
Truex.
No.
Oh, okay. Allmendinger.
Yes.
So that's 2. Kyle.
Yes.
Byron.
No.
McDowell.
Yes. One more.
So one more. Hamlin.
No. You and I took Hamlin.
Then I'm going to say Logano.
Correct.
Okay. I almost didn't go Logano. We'll get into why. But every time inaugural events, he strikes rich for me. So
There you go.
yep,
That's
that's
it.
why I took him.
That's
28 to 1.
absolutely it. It's the only reason. I wouldn't have taken him for any other reason.
Nope. Inaugural event, you take Logano. And he's
Yes.
always around these weird 28 to like 33 to 1. I think Bristol Dirt 2 years ago, I capped like 35 to 1. LA Coliseum, he was longer shot. Gateway was longer shot. It's like 28 to 1. He's right in that wheelhouse.
That's
to where
it.
Logano's going to jump out and win this thing.
And we both put the same amount. We both put $7 on him to make
had to
200.
Yep.
So, all right. So yeah, as far as the 4 7-to-1 shots, I'm sticking with my strategy. I'm not going to go that way. CJ went with all 4. You went with 3. The only guy I picked was Larson, and I went with Larson because of the fact that he's now not 5-to-1, 4-to-1, even 6-to-1. I'm getting a generous 7-to-1. He's finally in an area that I could take him, and he's now got through 3 races in a row where he's been in the top 10. So he's coming a little bit away from that up and down, 35th, 4th, 35th, 5th. And that combination with the fact that we know we can race in this type of setting, I'm going. So I put the most money on Larson. I put a quarter of my money, 25 on Larson. But I stayed away from the other 3. We know how hot Truex is. There's no question about it. He is right now, out of these 4, he would have to be, if he didn't, I don't know. For me, it's just that he's doing so good. I just don't know if he's going to win again. It's just, so, but he's the one that I actually trust the most over Elliott or Reddick, to tell you the truth. Reddick, I just don't trust right now because of his last 3 races. And even the one that he didn't perform well. What was the road course, the last one? Sonoma. And then Elliott, no, not yet. I'm just not at 7-to-1. If you give me 10-to-1, but not when I can go with Larson and Truex at 7-to-1. Why would I take Elliott?
I thought Truex would have separated himself instead of grouping him all in because he's arguably the hottest driver right now.
Yep.
2 races in a row, he's in the top 2. 4 consecutive top 5s. He's got the points lead. No brainer to go his direction. Larson, he's since 2021, he's won 2 times on first visits back to it. He dominated Nashville in 2021, and then he just won North Wilkesboro, which nobody's raced there. Granted, they've used to race there in the past, but that was in '96. Nobody else in the field has raced there. He dominated that race, so had to go that direction. And Elliott, I looked, he's won 3 inaugural races since 2020, and all 3 of them were on road courses: Daytona Road Course, Coda, and Road America. So I thought, all right, well, he's won 3 in a row as far as road courses for inaugural races. Why not a 4th? And so I went his direction. 5th at Sonoma. He's got 2 straight top 5 finishes, 4 top 7s in his last 5. I feel like he's getting better. So if I was going to take one at 7-1, I figured I might as well go all. So went that direction.
All right. And next, by the way, you were able to get a win last week. With Chastain. So maybe
keep it going.
Maybe that'll get things going. And I'm now on a 6-race win streak. I don't think I've ever had it. I think the last time I had a 6-race win streak had to be like 5 years ago when I had that really big year before all the changes and before it got really crazy with parity. So hopefully we can keep this going because you're gonna have a long winning streak. You gotta get lucky too, no question about that.
Yep, for sure.
11-1. You got AJ and Chastain. We all stayed away from Chastain, and I'm guessing it's because again it's hard to win two straight. Otherwise, we know he can drive in these types of settings. He won Coda last year. He's always solid here. But that was it for me. And for AJ, yeah, I've usually stayed away from him, but I just felt, this type of setting, I want a guy like AJ up there, especially because the last two races, 10th and 6th, so that's good. He's got a couple top 10s. That's been as good as he's had all season. And one of those, of course, was 6th at Sonoma. So, I haven't been taking Larson and AJ in the spot lately, but I just think this is a good week to go that route, especially going to AJ with a street race. He's got to be up there with one of the top guys that you can count on. That if there's an unknown in a street race kind of setting, then he should be okay.
Yeah, there's three guys in the field that I know of. I'm pretty sure, confident saying it, that have any street racing experience. Granted, it came in the open wheel ranks, and AJ's one of them. So that's figured. Hey, there's got to be an experience in this factor somewhere. So 11-1, I thought was a little low, but also just throw the number aside. Do you think he can win? I don't know if he can win outright other places, but here could be one of them. He was 6th in Sonoma, 10th last week in Nashville. It seems like they're getting better.
Yeah.
He won the Xfinity race in Nashville, and out of his 18 career Xfinity or Cup victories, if you combine them, 12 of them have come on road courses. He won the inaugural race in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. So 11-1, I don't like it. I'd rather him be 15, 16-1.
Yeah, I think Kyle Busch and AJ's odds should have switched.
I do too. I was shocked, but at the end of the day, you're still double digits, and if you feel good about it, you still should take him. So 11-1. Yeah, and Chastain, I just didn't trust he was going to win 2 straight weeks. He's won over a year. Is he going to win 2 times in 7 days, especially on a track like this? I felt he's kind of admitted to temper it down a little bit, and I just don't see him jumping back out of it now that he won a race. It's like, why would you go back to that? So I think he plays it somewhat safe. I think a top 10 could be good for him as long as he ain't caught up in
absolutely.
something. But
yeah,
a win, I just don't think so yet.
Yeah, we all took Kyle. Why not? Second in both road course races this year. Last 5 races, all top 10s, including a win and a runner-up. Yeah, and you're getting a pretty good number here for Kyle at 14-1.
Yeah, I grouped him and Byron together in a sense because it feels like these inaugural races, the championship front runners lately have been winning. You look at Kyle Larson, as I mentioned, won the 2021 Nashville inaugural race. He won the championship that year. Joe Logano won the Coliseum and Gateway last year. He won the championship last year. One could say Byron and Busch, they've each got 3 wins this year, probably 2 of your championship favorites, and you're getting a good number on 14-1 with Kyle and 16-1 with Byron. So if you're going to take one, you might as well take them both. Kyle, this car won 2 road course races last year. Kyle in it now has finished runner-up in both road course races, and you get him for 14-1. He won an inaugural race at Kentucky Speedway in 2011. He has 3 wins, like I said, in 2023, and 5 straight top 10 finishes. So just kind of felt you might as well take him. And I grew Byron because of that. Hendrick winning half of the last 10 inaugural races. Byron just seems like he's destined to come up next. He's 3 wins on the season, 5th at Coda. Granted, he's 14th at Sonoma, but Sonoma, that's his worst finish since April. That's the only time he's finished worse than Ace since April was at Sonoma. This track isn't going to race like Sonoma, so 16-1 for a title contender, you got to take him.
Now, you took 3 of the top 4 favorites. CJ took all 4. I took 1, and instead, I took all 3 20-1 shots. You took 1. CJ took 1. We all took the same one, McDowell. So I took Bell and Buscher as well. So I don't know. I haven't taken Bell in a while. I think this might be a good week. You're getting generous odds. We know he can drive on these road course setups. And let's keep in mind, Toyota's one, and this actually is a reason why I've added a few Toyota drivers. Not Bell. Bell, I like him anyway, but I added Hamlin and Gibbs because they're Toyota drivers. But because maybe Toyota's got something going on this year. with these types of setups. But Bell, I'm very confident with that he's gonna do well. He's trending in the right direction, and I like the 20-1 odds. And I just can't not take Buescher in these setups, especially with the way he's going this year. 8th at Coda, 4th at Sonoma, and again, we all like McDowell, who was in contention to win at Sonoma, and this is his best setup and his best shot. So what about these three?
Yeah, I like him. Bell, I feel like he's the next one that 21's gonna be one that's like, oh man, I should have taken him. I could regret it because you also look at him his last 4 races. He's improving again. 24th to 11th to 9th to 7th. He's trending back. He won the Roval last year. Toyota should be good. They're 2 for 2 this year. They won 3 in a row, going back to that Bell. Winning the Roval.
That's right.
Ford's,
3 in a row. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Ford's kind of scare me in a sense. They only led 4 laps at Coda. They led 1 in Sonoma. They only led 2 laps this past Sunday. They fled 9 or fewer laps in 6 of the last 7 races on the season. I feel like they're trending backwards. That's what scared me with Buescher. McDowell, he's one of the other guys with street course experience. As you mentioned, he was probably the second best car to Truex in Sonoma. So for 20-1, granted, pretty low number for McDowell, 20-1. He's
true,
kind of hovering around 50 to 60-1,
yeah.
But he's a good pick this week, especially one if you can find a top 5, top 10 play with McDowell. I would go that direction. And same for Bell. I think he'll be around the top 10. I don't know why he wouldn't be, especially when he's been improving this much. So that's a great group on 20-1 for because with their odds of 21 for outright win, you're going to get good play for them for top 5 and top 10. You might as well double down in that market.
And wrapping it up, again, you and I both took Hamlin. For me, it was only because he's driving a Toyota, plus he did qualify on the pole at Sonoma. So 25-1, good odds on a veteran driver. I did that. Again, we talked about Logano. We all took Logano. And then I also took Gibbs. And then the 100-1 drivers, and again, Gibbs was because it's Toyota. But the 100-1 drivers, Dillon, Gilliland, Haley, Jones, Stenhouse, and I'll put $1 on them. And I put 3 on Wallace at 100-1. And I see, and I did not take Cindric. It's funny that you guys took Cindric. I didn't. I've been taking him lately, and he just is not getting it done. And I understand it's a road course setup, and I understand that, but I'm having a hard time believing that with all the bad luck he's had, and it's just not going for him, that he's just going to find it this week. So I stood away from Cindric. If there was one driver I would have added a couple more bucks with, if I had it, it would have been him. But both of you guys did take Cindric.
And I only went with him over Bell. That's the only reason. Bell was my first one out, Cindric my last one in, because of the street course experience. Because I went with McDowell and Allmendinger. I might as well go with the guy at 30-1, because I'd be kicking myself if I was like, out of the 3, you went with the 2 with lower odds. He took the 30-1. He left off. But he's got street experience, especially in his sports car, because he ran in sports cars on the street course before. So he's had a top over his head on these places. He's a good road racer. But as you said, he's had some terrible luck this year, and he needs to win bad. So a lot of times I feel like you're chasing with him because he could get caught up in a wreck. It seems like the trends are he's probably going to get caught up in something. But on the off chance, 30-1, I didn't want to sleep on him too much.
And then just quickly, Blaney, it's been all bad luck the last couple of races. So he's not doing anything wrong. He's just, we've talked about, he goes through these stretches. And now that's the only reason. Otherwise, I think he could be a bargain at 30-1. I also think Harvick could be a bargain at 30-1 because he's very consistent, top 15 on the road course setup. So he was second at Roval. And then, Bowman is sometimes interesting. So yeah, those are some of the, and again, Wallace, I put a few extra bucks on, because I think he's getting way too much. I think the 100-1, I'm surprised he's getting that much.
Yeah, that was a little high for him. Yeah, for sure.
Your top 3?
I'm going to say Truex because he's hot. I'm going to say Elliott because the road course swing. And I'll go Kyle Busch because it seems like he's in the top 3 in all these races. So
your top long shot?
I'm going to say, I'm just going to say Logano only because he keeps winning these things.
Right.
And he's a long shot this week.
Eric, appreciate it. What's next week?
Thank you. That Super Speedway.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Is that Atlanta next week?
That is.
All
We're
right.
there.
So again, we're going to do the show live. We'll let everybody know. It'll be the last hour. We will. I don't know how we'll keep up, but we'll try to figure out a way to let you know. Maybe we'll put a note in the discussion area ourselves, just to keep an eye. But keep an eye out for Sunday next week. But I shouldn't even say what we should. We'll talk about it next week. We still have another show to talk. So yeah. So we'll preview that next week. All right. So enjoy the race on Sunday, Eric. Appreciate it as always, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days for your IndyCar report. Good. And have fun with your Zoom call with Alex Palou.
Thank you. Appreciate it.